So this is the thing that the dude stands on and holds like the fucking reins for the horse?
You sit on it.
You sit on it.
You sit on it. You kind of put your feet up, and the horse is actually in between your legs, and you ride with lines.
I see those.
Yeah. So you guys come out. We're gonna put you behind a horse.
Fuck no.
Did the Amish buy those to get places really fast?
Are you a big game hunter? Taking over the broadcast is Jake Mushaney, and by his side is Ryan Avery. Viewers are calling the Shoot to Hunt podcast the next hot tamale. Mind you, this show does not permit young ears. You'll be wanting a bar of soap in your mouth by the end of the show. Enjoy the broadcast and keep those little ears covered.
We're at the 2025 SHOT Show. We're actually in the STOCKY'S booth. They were gracious enough to give us space to do this podcast. And we're here with Procision Arms.
Yeah,
Guys?
we can't spell.
Me neither. That's why I asked you Cayuga earlier.
I like it. It's different.
A piece of advice for anybody starting a business: do not name it something that Google autocorrects it every single time, and nobody can ever find you.
Yes. I would refine that by saying name your business something that goes along with something that you're doing for business. Because it helps people to find you too. Yeah, like you guys have arms in there. When we started, we were forced to change our name, but the original name was Alpha Unknown, which meant nothing. And now Unknown Munitions,
household name.
Yes, now we're happy to have changed it the way we were forced to.
In retrospect, yeah, it's far better.
Yes, definitely.
It's good to know.
Yeah.
Well, first we got to go back to the beginning. You guys are both gun builders, Procision Arms, and Unknown Munitions. So I don't build a rifle. So who makes a better rifle?
Definitely
UM or Procision Arms?
I think I think there are a large number of quality rifle builders out there for sure. It's like a chef to me. Like if you start off with good ingredients and you care about what you're doing, it's going to end up good. I mean, machining wise, you can only cut your tolerances so much, right? So if you're gonna dial in a barrel to a fucking tenth, then you dial it into a tenth. So does the next guy, and yeah.
Are you running for office?
No, I mean this respectfully. I mean, we work so as a dealer or distributor of rifle parts, we work with a lot of rifle builders, and I don't hold any hostility, or I think there's more than enough room for even more rifle builders than there are.
No, and that's one thing we talk about all the time. There's a lot of really good gunsmiths out there, and that's kind of why we've gone the direction we have into the OEM world and the marking variants world, because we don't need to build all the rifles for everybody. Everybody has a preferred gunsmith. Everybody has a local guy that they like. If we can provide the components of those people to get them to build a quality product, we're happy with that. We don't need to build everybody's rifle.
I say it
Are
all
you
the time.
just trying to stir the shit?
It was an opening icebreaker, bro.
That was your icebreaker?
So listen, I always tell people this to the dawn of time and the end of time. If you have a fucking competent gunsmith in your town, go to that human and have him build your rifle.
We were just pumping Procision, I think, on the recent podcast of 6UM.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you are on the East Coast, fucking look up Procision. They have a reamer. They'll have 6UM brass.
Yep.
They're very fluent in 6UM because it is God's cartridge. So we can all agree to that. So even our guy Jason's coming to fucking round.
I'm coming on board.
He's 6UM curious. He's 6UM curious. He hasn't gone full 6UM, but he's dabbling.
Well, I said last night I want to do a 6UM night gun for coyotes at night.
Oh, that'd be a perfect flat fucking shooter for a
coyote. What's a fucking 80 grain VT?
I want to run it at 4,000 feet a second off that thermal.
Dude, between us, I was just over talking with Gene at Carbon 6.
This won't be just between us.
And he is coming up with something. So they have this new ECM process for their rifling inside their barrels. They're slowly easing into it. It's not all the barrels yet, but they're able to control the land and groove depth so precisely. They're going to use it to create some progressive, smooth land and groove transitions across the length of the barrel.
Oh.
So I just asked him for a sample. I'm going to hit him up on an email. So we're going to have a super fast 6mm barrel here to test pretty quick.
So that will be like a super cut barrel almost.
It would be like a super plus P.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
So they're gonna ease into it all across the length of the fucking barrel.
Will it be McGowan and carbon 6 barrels or just carbon 6 barrels?
Well, that happens on the ECM machine on the fucking liner, so it would be both.
But I mean, they're going to offer it in the steel side too.
Now, according to that, so I'm probably spilling beans that I shouldn't be spilling right now, but they're supposed to be patenting this process and naming it, so it's not for the public at the moment. But it brings up if you want a stupid fast 4,000 foot per second 6UM
41
might be something to look into.
Might be able to get it going 41.
He's gonna give me a test barrel. We're gonna do that.
Be fantastic.
Yes.
That'd
Anyways,
be cool.
Hell yeah.
We do a lot of thermal night guns, chassis, suppress. You know, where we're at, the coyote hunting at night has gotten really popular. Jason's big into it, and he also runs hounds for coyotes, and it's pretty cool. I can't stay up that late at night, but these guys are building super fast 22 Creeds, and the 6UM seems to be like the next evolution of that.
So before we go too far, I want to do this a little different. You guys got to introduce yourselves, but I want Jason to introduce Tim and Tim to introduce Jason.
This should be interesting.
Yeah.
Fucking Ryan. Ryan's been thinking about this shit for 3 days now.
So Jason, please introduce your partner, Tim.
All right.
Not gay partner, business partner.
All right. I'll introduce Tim Betts. Tim Betts come on with Procision Arms. What was that, Tim? How long ago?
It's like 5 years now.
Yeah, about 5 years ago. If you have a machining question, do not ask Tim. Ask me. But if you want to place an order or anything like that, Tim's your man.
Did he just call you the sales bitch?
I'm the secretary.
The secretary.
I'm the secretary.
Secretary Tim.
Yeah.
Nice.
He makes me sit on his lap and everything.
Right there. Pull it right down a little bit, pointed
Yeah.
There you go.
So you hear you louder.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, Tim, now's your chance.
Everything you've ever wanted to fucking say about this guy.
This is perfect. I feel like I've been waiting for this moment for years.
Well, maybe I should have taken longer. I have a lot of stuff to say.
That's why he let you go first.
Yeah, I just kept it short.
No, it's actually kind of a funny story. We grew up basically very close to each other. You know, where I grew up, where he grew up, is 15 minutes apart. Know a lot of the same people. I found him actually online. He was selling a muzzle loader, and I bought it and randomly just happened to live by him. Found he was a gunsmith. He built a couple of guns for me. And became friends and business partners, and we haven't killed each other yet in a couple of years. So we've been doing pretty good.
Yeah, it's a great relationship. We don't have any issue. That's great. So we
Complete polar opposite in hunting styles, everything, but it works. You know, Jimmy, who you met that works for us, Jimmy's like, how do you guys work together? You guys are like, there's nothing the same between you guys.
He's funny. So I walked up and he was trying to sell me on an action. You were talking. Yeah, Jimmy was. I had never met him.
Yeah.
And
I
looked
think
over
that
there.
was Phil.
That's
Huh?
Phil.
That's Phil.
Oh, right now at the booth.
Yeah, the crazy
that's
guy.
The bald guy.
Yeah, that's Phil. He's crazy.
Okay, so Phil, I said he's trying to sell me the action. I go, well, I think one of those are mine. And he looked at me like I was batshit crazy. And I was like, anyways, hey, so you started talking about, fast, flat shooting stuff for varmints. So for the guys that hunt at night, the reason you want fast and flat is because you can't range the animal. Is that correct?
Somewhat.
Is it hard to dial? Hard to hit them?
Right. So I run a Pulsar. That's XL50.
Okay.
So it does have the ranging capability in it.
Okay.
But you need an animal that is basically stationary. You know how coyotes are. Like they're always bouncing around and running and doing things. So what I created for myself, I shoot a 300. It's a Winchester short mag. And people are always like, why do you shoot a 300 Winchester short mag on coyotes? And I'm like, well, I put a 15 twist barrel in it, 0 headspace, and nozzle 125s. I'm getting 39.25 out of it.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so I do things a little bit different. I zero my thermal at 50 yards. And with how fast that rifle's moving, with right around the 4.0 BC, I'm able to put a pretty much dead on hold out to 400 yards.
Wow. Yeah.
Right.
So that's what I pictured in my head, yeah.
Right. So anything further than that, that's usually a coyote that's going to hang on me. And so what we found was you get busted. You have the coyote out there, he's barking in the middle of the field. He's really not scared of you. He's just sitting there in a fence row. And those coyotes are getting away. So, with the Pulsar SXL50, those coyotes I have time to range. And then, so I just shot one, what was that, about a month and a half ago?
Yeah,
it's about a month and a half ago. I shot one that was doing that. It was in the middle of the field barking. We got busted. I shot 714 yards with that rifle.
So that pulsar, when it has the built-in rangefinder, is it automatically ranging your focal point of the scope?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
Yeah, it does. And then it automatically moves the crosshair down to where you need to be holding.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it's slick, but you have to have a stationary animal to do that.
Enhance your shooting experience with STOCKY'S stocks. Are you tired of struggling with mediocre rifle stocks that hinder your performance? Imagine having a high-quality rifle stock that not only enhances your accuracy, but also provides superior strength and a lightweight build. STOCKY'S Stocks offers a wide range of premium rifle stocks manufactured with hand layup carbon fiber construction, a patented carbon fiber AccuBlock, and multiple finish options. Whether you're a long-range shooter or a hunting enthusiast, our stocks are perfect for you. Experience unmatched precision and durability with STOCKY'S stocks. We provide stock installation instructions, technical support, and guidance to help you choose the right stock for your rifle. Upgrade your shooting game today with STOCKY'S stocks.
So
Got it.
So it's similar like the Burris that has the drop downs in it.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
really accurate.
electronic.
I wonder what is the limit on like a bullet? If we get this so-called fast barrel with 22 inch with a 6 UM and an 80 grain bullet, then it's doing 5,500 feet per second. Is there some? I know there's an RPM limit about bullets coming apart, but what about velocity?
Well,
Yeah, it's
300,000 is what you want to stay under for the bullets, and then I don't know what you'd have for velocity. I don't think that VT is going to take 4K.
well, so neither will the nozzle that I'm shooting out of that 300. So what we did was we put a 1 in 15 twist in it.
I was going to say, so first we got to get a test barrel
Yeah.
to figure out what that super fast barrel is going to do for velocity,
Yep.
and then get a second barrel with the correct twist rate to adjust for RPMs.
So I've looked into it already for the 6 UM. I think that 80 grain bullets right around a 4.1 BC, which is actually higher. I think I can get it going 4,000, and I believe we need to be right around that 1 in 10, 1 in 11 on it.
Okay.
And I don't think that's going to blow the bullet up, but it's going to take a little bit of testing. But for the varmint guys that are out there, when we get it right, it is going to be an absolute game changer.
Hell yeah.
So
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I know people shooting the 100 grainer at like 36.
Yeah.
37.
right,
Well, the 20-inch barrel, 21-inch barrel, I think. So you should easily be able to get 380
yeah,
grains.
mm-hmm.
Huh.
It's
Well,
at
it's not how it
zero
goes.
hold. It's at 0 hold. That's what makes it all, because I don't have to range anything. So like if anything's 400 and in, I'm just holding dead on pulling trigger. Get dead cut.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Well, you guys are going to start. I guess we should talk about what you guys are making and going to make on your side for you.
Thank you.
What does that look like?
Yeah, so I think the best way to just probably give you a little bit of history of what happened. So, Jason's made his own receivers, and then it kind of evolved, and you can't build enough to keep up with demand of your own business, right? And it's if you're doing it on manual machines, you're building receivers manually, it's a difficult process. So it's easier for guys to go to a company that's dedicated to building receivers and have a marketing variance done. It's very common in the gun industry. So you do that, and then you realize over the course of time, a bunch of these custom receiver manufacturers have been bought up by venture capital money. Lead times are increasing, prices are going up, margins are decreasing. We couldn't get receivers. And we just said, you know what? Maybe we need to reinvest in the company, invest in automation, new machines, new tooling, and come out with a line of receivers for the small to medium-sized gun builders and in the OEM and contract manufacturing market, because we feel like there's guys that are getting left behind by these huge companies. So that's what we decided to do. We reinvested, we've retooled. I have a couple different generations of receivers now, and like you're looking at right now, we have one here. And we brought it to market here. We've, I feel like it's been pretty well received. We've got a lot of interest. A lot of companies are very interested because of what we're able to do and what we're able to provide for them.
Integrated lug,
Remington 700 footprint. It has a slightly enlarged ejection port.
It feels like it's a short throw.
It's a 90.
90?
Yeah, 90. We'll have, it's wire cut EDM raceways. It's the upgraded screw holes. It's actually the Stiller Lone Peak pattern. If you guys want to go to direct mount, we actually include a free pick rail if you guys want to go with a pick rail.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple little changes Jason did just over years of building on various receivers, like nitpicking or picking, hey, this guy did a really good job designing this. Let's use that. We didn't like this part of it. Let's change this. And it's got some really cool things you might want to talk about, some of the chamfer angles and things.
Yeah, we could talk about some of it. So what we did was we opened up the ejection port, and there's kind of a fine line between that. We didn't want to take it like overboard and then like lose rigidity, within the action, but we wanted to be able to get the rounds in easier. I wanted to be able to get the rounds out, as well, and still maintain some of the rigidity within the receiver. And also regarding the ejection port, what we discovered was on the rear of the ejection port on some action makers. If you're going to get a stovepipe or a jam, that's usually what happens. Like the bottom, piece of brass will actually pin it up against the top of the receiver. So we opened that area up, put a very large chamfer down in there, so we can get the brass out easier and it's not going to jam up on us. But yeah, it has the integral recoil lug, the 1 1/16 by 16 thread pattern, 950 headspace on it. Just like Tim said, it has the Stiller Lone Peak scope holes on top, and it's one-piece bolt. It's machined hard, wire EDM cut, and we make it in 416 stainless and grade 5 titanium.
You guys have that at for sale now? You can buy and order it?
Not right at the moment, but very soon.
Yeah, and we've been taking orders. We've been kind of inundated here, and we got a backlog. Obviously, you guys know about our backlog and projects. So we are taking orders. We are probably, as of today, which we're halfway through the SHOT Show, we're probably at a 4 to 5 month lead time for orders placed today. That's not going to be, once we get caught up, our goal is to be in that 30 to 60 day window.
Famous last words.
Famous last words, yeah.
Right.
You've been telling me that for a while now.
I do not know. I've seen a lot of action companies come, receiver companies come, and we're going to keep that. Even my buddy Jake said he'd keep his lead time down there 3 months and under. And you just fucking can't in this industry because you're going to have too much demand and not enough supply.
Well, the one thing that we have tried to do, we've tried to get ahead of that a little bit. We're doing a lot of things in-house. We're trying to be kind of a soup to nuts operation and control our own supply line and not use outside components, because invariably that's where you get hung up. And, as a builder, you can have everything ready and be missing, the smallest part or the, whatever you need, and you're dead in the water till something shows up. And unfortunately that affects your clients. It affects everything. And something we're trying to avoid, and our goal is to be realistic with guys. If guys call, and we say, hey, listen, like, we can't help you. We don't want to, promise somebody something and then not be able to do it, because we've been done, we buy stuff, we order barrels, we order triggers, we order everything. And yep, you'll have it in 30 days. And, 5 months later, it's still not there. And you call, oh yeah, we're a week away. And we don't want to do that. We're trying to avoid that for guys, because all it does is it taints you to the guy buying the rifle. It's always the builder's fault. It's never the supplier's fault. Mm-hmm. So we're trying to give guys realistic expectations.
Yep. And what about bolt faces?
Short, medium, long action with standard mag bolt faces right now.
Okay.
And magnums.
Yeah, short and magnum.
Standard and magnum bolt faces.
I'm sorry, standard magnum bolt faces.
Yep. And left hand.
What's the TI look like weight-wise?
We have not, so the TI is kind of last on it. It's going to be the exact same receiver, just in TI. We are trying to get our way through the steel receivers, and then that's the next evolution. So we'll get you a better picture pretty soon.
What's the price point?
Mm-hmm.
So retail, they're $9.99. We do have wholesale and gunsmith pricing. And we've had a couple guys here say, why are they so cheap for a full custom receiver of this?
Yeah, with a one-piece bolt too. This usually adds quite a bit of expense to this piece here.
Yeah, and so what we've done is we kind of established the fact that we're going to sell direct. We're going to sell customers. We're going to retail them, but we're actually going for the wholesale, the distribution market, the gunsmith market, and allow guys to do marking variances. And if we can keep our sales and marketing budget as low as possible, we don't have to pass that cost on to the customer, and then they pass it on to the gun buyer. And we're trying to avoid that, because all it does is add cost for everybody.
Yep.
So we're trying to remove that.
We're going to get one of these in the shop pretty soon to test, huh?
Very soon.
Nice.
You want to talk about the margin for the dealers?
I don't think too many dealers are probably listening. So, but if guys are interested in being a dealer, marking variants, whatever they want to do, give us a call and we can help you out.
What's your email for that?
sales@procisionarms.com.
There you go.
PRO, because it's.
What is the name of it?
Deadfire.
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 Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, Procision Arms Deadfire.
Marking exception wise, that you guys will allow
Yeah, so from a marketing variance perspective, if a guy has an FFL and calls us and said, hey, I have my own home FFL, I'm going to spin my own barrel up and I want to do this myself, and he's, Joe Smith out of, Post Falls, Idaho, we can put his name, his logo, made in Post Falls with his serial number, and
nice.
We can do whatever the ATF allows us to do, we're able to do.
Okay.
And I was listening, we went to dinner the other night and I was kind of listening to things. So you'll take it through the whole project, like they don't have any files, they have a design idea, you guys have a CAD guy and you can make an action. Would you do that for them still to where you're at now?
If the volume's big enough, absolutely. Or the price, that's the downside, right? You can do anything you want. It depends how much money you want to spend. Right. If you're going to design your whole action from the custom up, from the ground floor up, we can absolutely do that. If you're going to build one of them, it's probably cost prohibitive. If you want to build 1,000 of them, we can do it. And you're probably going to get into that price point where you want to be.
Yeah.
That's really what it comes down to, because it's the tooling, the fixturing, the material ordering, and the CAD CAM design doesn't change for one as it does 1,000. It becomes, time and material at that point.
I think realistically, most guys listening don't understand the cost or the time and the effort that it takes to go from concept to physical production part in your hand.
It's like buying a house.
It's incredible. All the different steps that are involved.
In the last 3 years from knowing Jake, the eye-opening thing to me is the R&D side and the cost that goes into R&D and the time and the fuck-ups and the stuff you got to mess up and test. To me, it was like when I was handed something to review, I'd be like, oh, this is a piece of shit. You're shitting on their baby, right? So I kind of look at it from the other. I see both sides of it.
Yeah.
But that company, Precise, whoever, they should be doing their due diligence on the testing on their side before they hand it. But I do see where there can be issues if it's not, if that makes sense. So is this going to do? You guys are going all under receivers. What about the gun builds? The guy that wants a gun built, you guys still going to end up doing that?
Absolutely. We're not abandoning that business. We're not going to make it the focus. We're not looking to compete with our new customers, essentially. We have a long line of established customers we build guns for. We do a couple specialty unique things that not a lot of other guys do, and we'll continue to do that. We hired a gunsmith. We had, you had dinner with him the other night, Jimmy. Jimmy's great. He's doing a good job. We really like him, and, we're going to keep him busy building guns. Jason's kind of transitioned into production. I'm still the secretary. So we're doing it the best we can. We got a couple other guys involved in the company. We're actually hiring if anybody's looking for a job in Western Pennsylvania. So email, call, text.
What are you hiring for?
Machinists mostly.
Okay.
Yeah, machinists. That's where we need the most help right now.
So
I met Jimmy the other night. He's a fucking unit. You got to meet this guy.
Oh yeah,
a fucking unit.
He should be over the booth now.
It's the only way I can explain him. You've got to meet him.
Okay.
He's the man.
He's something.
Well, you met Phil, our CAD CAM guy.
Yeah, he's crazy.
Phil said we had to give him a shout out. So he's JIT.
JIT CAD CAM.
JIT CAD CAM. He's Fusion Phil on YouTube.
Yeah,
he's hilarious.
Phil.
He's missing some brain cells. He's a Marine vet, and
I kind of got that Marine vibe.
Yeah,
Dude,
he's not normal.
As soon as it came out of his mouth, I was like, it all fucking makes sense.
Yeah.
Everything from I met him on Monday night till now, I was, what the fuck is wrong with this guy?
It all
Marine.
makes sense.
Yeah,
Marine.
he's a great guy. We've had a lot of fun this week, and he's done a good job for us, and he does a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah.
So,
is there anything else you guys want to cover that you guys make for you?
I got a question. So Ryan's told me a little bit about some side shit you guys do with horses, carriages.
yeah.
So picture like some gladiator shit.
I don't-
What is it y'all are doing there?
I don't know if Jake wants to go down this road with three of us owning mules.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you
Could be- could
this
be
is
a long
a
subject, but this Tim is an onion. Like, I knew Tim from Procision. I call him one day and I'm like, God, I cannot get this fucking mule out of Arkansas. He goes, I can do that. Then I ask him something else about mules. I can do that. So what do you know? Oh, I know that.
Well, the coolest thing you've told me though is like I told you, I picture some gladiator shit like in the Coliseum.
Chariot
racing.
You
Chariot
guys
of
are
fi-
building the chariots or some
Chariots
shit
of
like
fire
that.
playing in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is it you guys do on that side?
So I grew up in the standardbred horse racing industry. Both my grandfathers trained horses. My dad was a racetrack vet. My brothers and I are still involved heavily. We have a barn of race horses. We own, train, breed, buy, sell. My brother's a full-time trainer. I've been heavily involved in that my whole life. I grew up doing the youth rodeo thing. Still involved in the horses. I'm a little bit less involved on a day-to-day basis with the firearms company. And the other part of it is my brother and I own part of a company that we make they call them sulkies or race bikes, or it's technically a kind of a chariot, but no one really calls it that. But yeah, we make them and we sell them all over the world. So this past year we sold it. We sent them to Australia, New Zealand, Brussels, Italy, UK, South America, and then obviously the U.S.
So this is the thing that the dude stands on and holds like the fucking reins for the horse?
You sit on it.
You sit on it.
You sit on it. You kind of put your feet up, and the horse is actually in between your legs, and you ride with lines.
I see those.
Yeah. So you guys come out. We're gonna put you behind a horse.
Fuck no.
Did the Amish buy those to get places really fast?
Yeah, that's if you. Yeah, it's not. If you got to get to work really fast, or get to church really fast, you go the 2-wheel race bike instead of the 4-wheel.
And they're like leaning back pretty hard, huh?
Yeah.
These guys lay back. Well, so it used to be everybody kind of sat up close, and you look like Grandpa driving, And then now all the young guys, they lean flat back all the way. Aerodynamic, can't see where you're going.
Okay.
It's like lowrider style now.
Talking about an onion, man, you are all over the place.
I'm not good at any of them. It's a problem.
Just keep going till you find your niche.
That's why you have Jason.
That's why I have Jason.
That's
nice.
He's a mule guy now, though.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I grew up with horses, and I had a friend that had some mules and had some good mules, and I went on a hunt and had a really bad mule, and I was like, man, I don't know about this, and then ended up buying one, and he turned out to be a pretty good mule, and I've cycled through them, and I got to get another one, but I sold my good one, so now I'm down to the B team. I got to upgrade to keep up with Ryan now.
No, I got to upgrade to keep up with you. I want to see Jake on a mule. It's going to be like 3, 5, 4, 5.
As long as the mule's big enough, man.
Easy's big enough. He could tote him up the mountain.
I was going to say.
Easy would be like, fuck off. I am not pulling.
I was going to say, I just don't want to get on top of the mule. Then the mule's like, fuck this shit. Like,
you got to get on him.
Pitch you down the mountain.
Yes.
I said he needs a fucking draft mule.
You do. You need a draft mule.
Any mule that I got would also have to handle my boy, who's on like the cusp of 300 pounds.
He will beat Jimmy. And he played center.
No shit.
Beat Jimmy.
Okay.
He's 6 foot now, and he got hurt, so he's probably 350, 375.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, Jimmy's.
And he's a unit. I'm not saying he's like a big old. He's a unit.
Just a big boy.
Yeah, unit.
That's Mason. He's 6 foot 300. He's a unit. He has these
like
thighs, dude. Like no joke, twice my diameter. It's crazy.
If your boy's 300, Jimmy's all a 350.
I'd agree with that.
And we love you, Jimmy. We love you. You're a fucking unit, though. And I don't mean that in a bad way.
So really, the story behind the mules is actually, I was the first one to get mules. And I was in Kentucky riding, to make a really long story short. I saw some gated horses down there. So I started asking questions about it, because we don't have gated horses where I'm from. And I was like, well, that's quick. It's smooth. It's fast. And then so I go to my girlfriend at the time, Kara, and she's like, we can get mules, but they got to be gated. And I'm like, okay, I'm in on that. So Tim comes over to the shop, and I'm like, I got gated mules. And he goes, really?
Got real excited. I got real excited. Because the first couple I had weren't gated. And then I got it. I'm like, man, the gated thing is fun because, you're riding you have non-gated ones. You know how fast they walk.
3 miles an hour.
Yeah. On a good trail. And, in the gated ones, they'll walk 4, 4.5, 5. If the trail's good and a really good gated mule, you can cover a lot of ground. I mean, and over the course of, back where we were at in there, 7, 8, 9 miles, it makes a big difference.
When we were walking out, he had to keep slowing his down because Easy wanted to fucking take off like a rocket. Yeah.
Yeah, we were hauling. Yeah, he just runs you over if you don't. Yeah, if you don't go fast, he said, I'm not waiting on you, and just plows you over.
Easy is fast.
Yeah, he is fast. The other ones I've had aren't as fast.
And he's a fucking monster. You could, like you said, you could ride Easy.
We packed out of Wyoming 2 years ago. We packed an elk and a half on him, 14 miles. And the best we figured between the saddle, the weight, he had 350 on him.
Dude, there's like all 10 of the horsewomen that listen to this podcast just went.
We're gonna get some hate mail on that. I'm sure. I wouldn't recommend it. It was a bad deal. We had a horse that went lame. Yeah. We had to get out. There was a storm coming. It was I wouldn't do it again unless you absolutely had to. It was one of those things where if we didn't do it, we were in real trouble.
The motherfucker was in shape and he handled it.
He got out. It actually didn't miss a beat. Yeah, I was actually surprised how well he did. I probably, wouldn't want to do it all the time, but for a one-time deal, knowing that he, but he's also big. He's 1,400 pounds. He's a big boy.
Yeah. Damn.
He is big.
Dick.
Well, I guess we got to get to the meat of
The meat of the conversation?
I mean, for our side, your side's just another day at the office. So go ahead. This is your baby more than my baby.
Well, so Procision Arms making an action for us. We're pretty excited about. Kind of pitched we all pitched the idea, shoot to hunt side.
Yes, there's multiple pitches. We'd agreed to one pitch at the end.
Somewhat, yeah. And then potentially moving on to something different afterwards if everything goes according to plan. But
we're in this for a long haul, so Precision better be around for a while and be buying more machines.
So, on the Tikka side, we've been a big Tikka dealer now for at least a good hard year, and I have stacks and stacks of stocks and barrels from rifles that we've torn apart in order to build custom rifles on. We even went as far as to where we machine down Tikka actions to make them lighter. We build lots of components now for Tikka actions, and it only makes sense at this point because Tikka won't allow us to just buy a Tikka action to kind of make I guess we'll call it a clone with improvements.
Yeah. I wouldn't say a clone. I would say an improved action that takes a Tikka trigger by chance.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of things about it too. So it's going to be a Tikka inlet, an exact Tikka inlet.
Yeah.
It'll be an exact Tikka bolt, and it will have a Tikka trigger. Other than that, it's going to be a lightened. There'll be two versions. There'll be the full version that is what Form is going to prefer. A non-fluted bolt, a fully enclosed action, pretty much the same as a normal Tikka that hasn't been machined down.
And it'll be like the all-weather. That's the one that it has to fire no matter what on that sheep hunt last day in a snowstorm or North Idaho snowstorm, and it has to fire. So it has the bridge is covered. I don't know if that's a technical term, but the top is covered.
So that'll be your standard version. The name of the action is going to be the Raven. So this will be the standard Raven or just the Raven. And then we'll have the light version that's all machined down, lightweight. No real design changes other than it's just lightweight, I think. So fluted bolt, machined down action body. Hopefully, somewhere around 4 ounces lighter than the previous version. That's what we save on the current. The current Tikka action is 26 ounces. We shave it down to about 22 after fluting the bolt and machining the housing. We don't know what exact weights are going to be yet. We're in the process of testing printed versions, polymer printed versions of the action now. But it will have an integrated pick rail. That will be a big change over from the current Tikka action. So no more 17 millimeter dovetail up top or 16 and a half, whatever it is. It'll be an integrated pick rail. It's very low pro. It'll just have a pick section at the back and the front. That'll be whether it's the light or the regular, correct?
As of right now, I have it catted up to be a two-piece.
Two-piece.
Yeah.
So two-piece either way. Another big improvement on a gun builder perspective is the fact that it can take a 1.2-inch shank, and it doesn't have that beveled surface that it would come up to the lip of the barrel and just look funny. Yep. So the face of the action is going to be so that it accepts a 1.2-inch shank, and it looks seamless from that point. We are going to be providing all aftermarket parts for the action as well. So you're going to get, this will be an exact Tikka bolt. So you'll be able to take the bolt out of this new action, the Raven, and put it in your regular Tikka, and it functions the same way. So we will have aftermarket bolts available in both left and right hand in all bolt faces, with the exception of Lapua, of course. We're not putting Lapua on a Tikka length action. So Magnum standard, 223 PPC, left and right. So those of you that know you can't get a left-handed 223 action or a Tikka here in the States, and you had a left-handed Tikka, you could simply put a left-handed 223 aftermarket bolt in it, and you'd be ready to go. Again, it is going to take a Tikka trigger. We did get to meet with Trigger Tech here at the SHOT Show yesterday, and we should be able to put in an order for those triggers around the end of March, and they should be available around the April-May timeframe. We don't have an exact price on those yet, but we think they'll be sub 200.
Yep. KRG and Timony also make Tikka triggers. So
yeah, there are a number of other aftermarket manufacturers, but moving away from the factory Tikka rifle, you don't get that factory trigger. You don't get the factory bottom metal and mag. So there's some, little bit of changes there to be made.
True.
The whole action will be nitrided. And especially the light version, it's gonna look pretty. I'm excited.
Yes.
All the aftermarket parts that'll be available for those Tikka lovers out there are going to be super excited. We met with some international distributors here yesterday at the show, and and they're very excited about it too. Basically, the Tikka is just as popular in Europe as it is here in the United States. So, aftermarket bolts and all those things are still a problem on that side.
Question of the week powered by ADG.
What's the mistake going to be wrong?
I'm going to say for somebody who's brand new, doesn't know anything at all, and they just bought a box of brass, and this is their first time loading it, they would probably not chamfer the mouths when they get it out of the box. They expect that to be done, and we don't do anything to the mouths. So the first thing they should probably do is chamfer inside and outside on the case neck.
It was actually interesting. We had a guy stop by that was international vendor as well, and he was like, he wanted to come out with his own action of either a marking variance or design, and he said, I kind of went back and forth. Like, it was a toss-up if I'm going to go Tikka or 700, and we didn't, obviously, at this point we hadn't been able to really discuss it, but, he said the only reason why he went Remington 700 was the lack of availability of Tikka components and Tikka footprints, even internationally. So he was very, I'm sure he'd be a guy that'd be very interested in this too.
Oh, absolutely.
Because they're loved everywhere, but it's just not available if you want that footprint.
You can't even get a factory trigger here in the United States, let alone an aftermarket bolt or even a factory bolt. So once you buy that rifle, if you need a spare part, you're kind of fucked. So we are going to have all the spare parts. So all the internal fire control group of the bolt, everything is being spec'd out by Procision. They're basically sending everything out for metallurgical analysis, hardness analysis, and everything will be up to par for any factory Tikka.
Yeah, and that's our goal. We want to provide extremely high quality components that are going to work for everybody and make a good fit.
Yep.
We don't want to. We're not sitting here doing something proprietary that you can only buy from us or only buy from you guys. I mean, we want this to be a very well thought out, very well run product line.
Yes,
If you have a
and keeping it affordable too, right? So we're trying to. Hopefully, there are no prices out there yet, but we hope to be around the same price as your action for the standard, and it's going to be a little bit more expensive for that light version, I imagine, with the extra machining
just the
and
extra
whatnot.
machine, a little
yes,
bit,
but around
added.
that, if we could be around that $9.99 for that standard action, I think that's all nitrited up. I think that's going to be money, but we don't know yet, so don't quote us on prices. And we're probably thinking, now we'll hold you guys to the fire here. Since if you're not waiting on me for anything, what's kind of a realistic timeline to come to market, at least with that first action?
They are waiting on you.
Not right now. We just talked about it.
Oh, okay. Now they're not waiting. Now
Yeah,
it's your guys'.
5 minutes ago you dropped the start production line.
Now it's your guys' fault. So what's the time frame? And the side note, these will, because this is like we've kind of been bleeding this out a little bit. Well, mostly Jake, but it's getting out there, and this will snap right into. If you have an existing Tikka stock or action, this will snap right in.
It'll be a perfect Tikka inlet.
You don't have to bend.
Matter of fact, we even kind of went away. We were going to do an integrated lug, but there actually are some chassis and things out in the market that already have a lug built in. So if we were to do an integrated lug, you would negate the use of that action in those. So we want to keep it the same as a standard Tikka. So it will have a separate lug.
Yep.
Yeah.
And to me, nitride, people underestimate that. I will never have another Tikka action that's not
smooth as a baby's butt.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about it. It ain't going to rust. Nothing's going to happen to it. I don't like to clean it. When I'm done with it, I'm sure, Tim, you're I put that motherfucker in the gun safe and I pull it out the next time. I don't give a shit what it looks like.
I get yelled at for that all the time.
Oh, yeah.
I'll give you a quick anecdote. This great story. So I am very like you, not a lot of cleaning, not a lot of care. I just want it to work.
Yes.
Jason, his famous quote is, "My gun is like my sword. He babies it. He talks to it. He tucks it in at night beside him." And we have shared custody of some guns. And I take one hunting, and it was a horseback hunt, and wet and rainy, and beat it up a little bit. And he calls me. He's like, "Hey, I need that gun. I'm going hunting." And I gave it to him, and he calls me, and he doesn't swear. He's he's kind of a church boy, and he calls me up, and he's like, "What the fuck did you do to this gun?" He's like, "It's rusty. There's pine needles in the bedding." I'm like, "Dude, I don't know. I went hunting. Like, what do you want me to say?" And then he's like screaming at me on the phone. I'm like, "This is the first time he's ever raised his voice to me."
Oh shit!
And then I think I gave you my take on how guns should be handled in the field. And I think I said something like, the gun is just as important as you.
Yeah, he was like, "Yeah, give me the sling." I'm like, "No, dude, it's a tool. Like, if I need to use it to dig a hole, I'm going to use that stock to dig a hole." And he's like, I don't know, he's wiping it down every night and keeping it in his sleeping bag.
Does he have a loophole scope?
No, thank God.
No, do not have a loophole scope.
Huh.
That is interesting.
But I mean, we are damn excited about the action. Well, anyways, you guys didn't really say a timeline, but
We're trying to avoid that. That's why we went into
I
stores.
will say that hopefully maybe you and I can work together, Jason, but we're going to be at that Hunt Expo in 3 weeks from now. We got a big booth on the main floor, booth 202, and maybe we can have a printed version of the normal and the light, potentially. Just a printed body, no bolts or nothing, but something you guys could come by the booth and check out.
Yeah.
For sure, we could have the full version. I think we're about done with that design. Do maybe a little more feedback on it.
Yeah, we just need a little bit more feedback from you guys. Like, so it's like we're at the point right now to where like you guys just have to tell us, make this.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as you guys, say that, we're going to start that process.
Yeah.
So maybe a couple more small changes as far as CAD CAM.
Yep.
And then, we should be off to the races on that.
And then I think maybe the light versions, maybe we just do a couple iterations and we'll print them out.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we'll give them a good look. I had him print a not so good print only in the pick rail section to do that testing.
Right.
So now I'm going to have him print a full render of the whole action there, and then we'll do our final feedback for that one, and then and then we'll work on the light.
Well, it's like now's the time to change it. Like before we have to, build all kind of fixturing and tooling for it. So let's just get it right.
Yep.
But it's close.
Yeah,
I don't know if I said that either, but it is the exact Tika tendon thread also. So any Tika prefits that you might have would screw right into this action.
Yeah, I think the one thing that we did talk about was trying to have the first run ready for the shoot to hunt shooting school, get it to form, and that way we can burn a bunch of rounds in them for testing. We discussed that.
That would be pretty good. We're definitely this will be a very tested action for sure.
I was going to say we could probably even get one of the printed one and have Fortin shoot at one time.
He likes to shoot
Single
printed
shot.
shit. Yep.
I don't want to be there for that.
We'll just put a couple zip ties around the tendon area, give it a little extra strength.
Like every time we get something, then it's like explicit, do not shoot. Form's like, let's shoot this motherfucker.
So how can we thread this printed suppressor so I can go shoot it right now?
Yeah, he's special.
Well, cool deal. But hey, in our reality, we're probably looking at middle of the year to end of the year.
That's our goal.
Somewhere around there coming to market. And
it's going to be a priority for us. I mean, we've been talking about it for a while. It's on. We've actually started a lot of the design phase. A lot of the component phase has been done. A lot of that kind of prototyping stuff is going on. It's just going to become really on our end. It's waiting on fixturing, right? So, that, I don't know if anybody in machining, it's just like firearm components, right? We're beholden to the company making fixtures and making tools. And the fact, if we could turn it on tomorrow, we would. It's just as soon as they get us the parts that we need to actually make them, we'll be making them. And that's kind of where we're at. So
is that, I guess it would be so what are you going to, like, it's back to the same question. And this is the thing we kind of harp on Rock Slide is, what are you guys going to do when you're a year out?
Hopefully not. So I don't want to say we planned to be successful, but we thought we try to put a lot of thought into our business plan, and we built our process when we built receivers, and we built the process to build receivers. How do we handle exponential growth without planning for it, right? So the current system that we have now, we can actually double production in about 45 days, and we could triple production in 45 days. So we have a choke point in our current production that we can solve in for approximately 45 days.
Oh, that's impressive.
Yeah, and so we kind of build it that way, hoping to grow, and we're planning on growth, and we're anticipating being in business for a while. But it was just our way of, we heavily invested in robotics and automation. We own our own facility. We're not beholden to rent. We're not, we don't have that issue. So we built this, our plan from the ground up to hopefully be able to handle that increased workload and do it fast.
Good deal.
So, they actually put it in our little contract that our shit always comes first too. Isn't that nice of them?
Yeah, he told me that. I don't remember that, but it did get brought up.
Ryan's imaginary contract.
Yeah.
We actually, I tell Jake this all the time. Don't you remember that? It's in the fucking contract. We also have another project that we're not going to talk about yet. We have with you guys that'll be very interesting. I'll just allude to the change of some seasons in Utah.
Yeah, it should be fun.
Very interesting coming down the pipe.
I know Form's excited about that one.
Yeah, and he is excited. And that shit, I went by and looked at the thing you sent me the other day, which it's all secretive. And I'm telling Jake now we can't talk about it till we actually have a working product.
They don't even tell me anymore.
Jake will be butt naked with his underwear on, saying, "Look at this," and then
the printed shit will be coming out of the underwear like that.
Well,
nice.
that's all I got. You got any more, Jake?
I'm all good. Looking forward to working with you guys. Really am.
absolutely.
And I think that whole situation is going to crush it and make way for a lot of other opportunities.
Yeah, Jason did say he will put you at the top of the line, but you got to get him an elk.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hey, what
need
you
an
said
elk.
about this.
that was in the contract, by the way.
That was in the that was in the contract. Yeah.
Okay, came back to
This
bite
is
me.
down at the bottom.
If you guys cut me in, you don't even have to cut me in, but I will tell you in there if you have that tag.
All
Keep
right.
getting for it. And I personally think you should wait.
Right.
Tim's trying to bogart it. Don't let him bogart it.
Yeah, he's been trying to get me to burn my points. He's like,
I've been trying to use his points for 2 years now.
Yeah, let's do a group draw. Let's do a group draw. You have 11 points. Let's do a group draw.
Dude, our buddy Jim Carr, he's got a grip of points in Wyoming. I'm always like, we could go together. Just cut him in half.
Hey,
Just
we
cut him in
got
half.
a good. Well, you just burned yours, didn't you?
I got 1 point.
Me and Mace have some good points too.
How many you have?
I think 6 and 5.
I got mules. You want to go?
He's going to have to get a few fucking more. Anyway, we'll talk about offline, but it's in the contract now. I guess it's got to be so.
Yep.
Yeah. We're all
Perfect.
good now.
Appreciate
All right.
you, Tim and Jason. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks
Yeah,
for
thank-
having us, guys. We appreciate it.
All right.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thanks
Oh,
for
hold on.
listening.
Procision Arms, where they get you?
Yeah.
We're procisionarms.com, sales at procisionarms.com, 877-23 rifle is our phone number.
Perfect.
I got one more thing. Now that you said it, they're going to have a really good commercial with the Jimmy the Unit
Oh,
coming out
yeah.
soon. So be ready for it. So make sure you pay attention to their social media.
The unit.
Jimmy the Unit.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you.